Momona started as a twinkle in Mahina and I's eyes. We started putting on some supper clubs just for friends in town. And I think we both realized that we could do it for real and that we worked really well together and that it could be something really special. We both came from the industry, and I think we had this idea that it didn't have to be the way that it always was.
Restaurant culture can have a tendency to be not the greatest. You think of like the chef yelling in the kitchen kind of thing, and that was just the exact opposite of the type of environment we wanted to create. And so that's what really we were focused on when we were opening this place, was quality food, you know, positive culture, inclusive culture, you know, in a place that was different for Chico also.
When I was coming up in kitchens, it was, you know, you had to show up 2 hours early. If you wanted an opportunity, you'd find a little nook on a cutting board somewhere, like maybe 1 square foot, and you'd budge your way in and you'd buy ingredients yourself and you'd show chef, and maybe if he had time, he'd look at what you made. You'd be really lucky if they tasted it, let alone gave it a chance. So I kind of made it a goal of mine that I wasn't going to put out any fires. That if you have that there, I'm gonna do whatever I can to foster that and keep it lit.
I got connected to Momona through like mutual friends. I was working at a different restaurant and was pretty burnt out from the pandemic, and I was like, I need a new spot to work, because I need a new environment. My previous jobs, when there's so much stress put on the staff and you're trying to communicate that to management and they're just not listening to you, or they say they are, but then nothing's ever really done to change. Whereas at Momona, I feel like everybody's input is taken into account.
It's a very consultative relationship. I don't think we go into anything being like, this is the way it's going to be. I think we want everyone here to contribute. We want it to be kind of a team effort. We want to make it together.
If we're going to run a special for 2 days, it doesn't need to be perfect. And if that's going to be the case, then so many people are going to feel as if they can't participate. So by kind of breaking down those barriers a little bit and letting people feel as if, oh, I have an opportunity to try.
I think we've had a lot of staff come in as dishwashers that left as chefs.
We help to foster that environment where people feel, I guess, like comfortable to try, to experiment, by letting them know it's okay to fail. You know, success and failure like that's something that you determine. People get obsessed, you know, with the celebrity chef. We get so caught up in that we forget about the collective.
There's a beautiful blend between front of house and back of house. In previous restaurants where I've worked, there's always been a divide. I think that's what's the most successful about Momona, is like there's none of that divide. That's something that makes it easy to go to work every day. I'm never dreading a shift. I'm always just like, ooh, like who's on shift? Like who do I get to see today? There's just this love, like I don't know how to explain it.
People are doing their best work because they're motivated, they're happy, they're excited, rather than it being, I'm terrified and I don't know what's gonna happen next. We all kind of know we're gonna run around with a shovel and unbury each other and support each other. So we're taking care of each other, and we understand how to do so through communicating with each other.
Removing that toxic culture from Momona started with how we spoke to each other, right? And how we spoke to everybody around us. Information is power, and I feel like I've been in a lot of work situations where people try to sort of covet that information, right? To control the power, you know? And so for us, it was very much like about transparency and just giving people like, you know, a direct and honest feedback as much as we possibly could. If I truly treat people as people and meet them where they're at and try and support them in their lives, when they show up to this job, they show up hard and they show up strong and they show up like they give their best, and like that's what we need.
Our team makes me feel more satiated than anything else in my life, and watching all of them grow into the people that they want to be and help being them in whatever way they allow us to, that's a huge thing for us. At the end of the day, we are a business, and for us to survive, we do need to make certain concessions. However, we're going to pick and choose in the best way we can so we can support our team.
I think some of the biggest challenges in a restaurant atmosphere right now are just that people are spending less money. We need people to still believe in downtown. We need it to like hold on to its magic so people still want to come and like have a whole experience. I think it's lost that a little bit. That's definitely really impactful on us.
The restaurants that you do see that are succeeding right now or doing well are mostly because they try as hard as they can to take care of their people, and their people try hard to take care of them back.
Supporting your staff is a really big piece. It's a two-way street, and I think that's what works between Momona and its employees is like there's a sense of support from both sides of like, I've got your back and you've got mine.
I think that people don't realize that the people that run this space, that own this space, that's their neighbor. You know, it's not big money that came in from out of town and threw a ton of some investor that no one will ever see or knows money at a project. It was all of their own pennies, you know.
I really just want this to continue to be a place where people want to be, where they feel safe, where they feel Momona. I feel most Momona when the company I'm with is perfect and the food or the drink is perfect, and that doesn't mean like high-end snooty stuff. Like, it can be like the shittiest cup of coffee and I'm like the most happy, you know, just really because of who I'm around and the conversation we're having. And Momona has meant something to someone in their life, like, you know, at a celebration or, you know, just on a date or whatever that is, and that to me is like incredible.
At the end of the day, it's just a restaurant, but it's really not. We've got to watch so many people grow into these amazing individuals, and then they take that and they go out into the world and they kind of spread this culture of like treating people well, and I think that's the impact overall that we'd like to have on like the community.